Hey everyone, what's going on? Jeff here from Films at Home. In today's video, I'm going to talk to you about my top 5 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray releases from 2022 so far. So every year I do a top 10 list at the end of the year, which I will do again here in 2022. But since we're smack dab in the middle of June, I figured, hey, let's split that in half and do a top 5 for the first half of 2022 and talk about some of the best 4K Ultra HD Blu-rays that are out there on the market. So these are the best, in my opinion, that have come out this year. And stick around to number 1 because I think you guys will be pretty interested by the top choice that I picked. So we're going to go in order from 5, 4, 3, 2 all the way down to 1. I'll talk quickly about each of the movies on this list. I've also reviewed each of these movies as well, so that's helpful, and you can see all the full video reviews on my YouTube channel. So let's kick things off with number 5 on my list, and number 5 is Ambulance on 4K Ultra HD. I really liked this movie. I thought it was a ton of fun, a nice throwback to the old action movies of the 80s and 90s, very much like Heat, maybe mixed with Speed, maybe mixed with a few other elements. Not a necessarily like unique concept. In fact, it's a remake of a European film, but the Dolby Atmos on the Ambulance track is unbelievable. One of the better audio tracks that I've heard all year, and it has a really high source. It came from 6K and 8K video, so it looks beautiful on 4K Ultra HD. The total package here, sound and visuals, you're gonna really love this in your home theater. And I do think that if you're a sucker for those action movies and you just want something that's a real fun shoot 'em up kind of, turn your brain off type movie, Ambulance is a good one. Michael Bay is back and I love what he's doing. I'm sick of him making Transformers movies. I'm really happy he's back to making some sort of, his original take on things, and Ambulance was a ton of fun in that way. So your home theater will enjoy it, your surround speakers will enjoy it, your Atmos system will enjoy it. Plus, I think you'll enjoy the movie. So Ambulance is number 5. Now at number 4, I have The Northman. I just reviewed this on my YouTube channel. It was my latest video before this one. So go check out that review if you want to hear more about The Northman. But the reason this makes the top 5 list for best 4Ks of the year so far is because I think it's absolutely necessary to own this movie on 4K. It's such a dark and gritty movie that if you're not watching it in the highest possible quality, you could have some issues. I know many of you have told me that the Peacock streams of The Northman look terrible. The visuals here are great. It's a 35mm source, which 4K lends itself really well to. It also has a pretty dynamic Dolby Atmos track, not as dynamic as some of the others on this list, but it's up there. It's good. It's good Atmos. It's not great Atmos, but really the quality here is all about the video. And the movie itself, I think, was a lot of fun. Certainly one of the best Viking movies that I've ever seen, if not the best. So I know it's not for everybody. Robert Eggers has his own sort of style and his own choices that he makes with the way he develops and directs movies. But if you enjoy his stuff, you'll like The Northman, and the 4K disc is a must own in my opinion. So coming in at number 3 on my list is The Godfather 4K trilogy. Now, I've got the limited edition 50 years box set here, which has some really cool stuff. It has a big booklet on the inside and all of the movies, but the standard edition is a great release as well. Now, The Godfather was lovingly restored by Francis Ford Coppola's team. Actually, James McCoskey, who I had on my podcast, did the restorations. He worked with Francis Ford Coppola and his team to make the 4K versions of these, and they pulled a lot of elements from the previous restoration, but 4K really takes it to the next level. They were able to clean up a lot of the dirt and scratches in the film. The 4K resolution obviously lends itself very well to movies shot on film, and the addition of HDR really cleaned up some of the scenes, and I think gave us the vision that Coppola had when he was originally shooting the movie. Because of lighting limitations and where things were shot, especially like the wedding scene in the first movie is one they call out a lot. It didn't look great, and The Godfather looked a little gritty, and they were able to really clean that up on 4K, and it maintains its sort of style, but it looks a hell of a lot better. And The Godfather Part 2 is also excellent, and Part 3 is very good as well, even though it's much newer. That's probably the best looking, but the restorations of Part 1 and Part 2 alone are worth picking up the trilogy box set. And if you want to learn more about it, definitely go check out the episode I did on my podcast with James McCoskey. Highly recommend watching that interview, and highly recommend picking up the Godfather trilogy on 4K. You're going to be blown away. It's like watching the movie again for the first time. Now, coming in at the number 2 spot on this list is Warner Brothers' The Batman. This is another movie, much like The Northman, that is very dark, and you may have some issues streaming it on, say, an HBO Max. HBO Max quality tends to be somewhere in the middle for streaming services, but I do think a movie that's this dark with the amount of black crush you're going to get on streaming deserves you to buy this on 4K. It has a great source. The movie is beautifully shot. It has so many great moments, but it is extremely dark, and that's where 4K and HDR are really going to help your TV handle that blackness and that darkness and handle those black levels and bring them to an acceptable point where you're not having the crushing or the washed out color. Now, outside of that, the Atmos track on this is also great. The sequence where there's a chase sequence with Batman and the Penguin, I'm not going to give away too many spoilers, it's been out for a few months now, but that chase sequence is excellent. The scene at the end of the movie in the arena, amazing. There are tons of great audio moments in this that your Atmos system or even just your 5 or 7.1 surround system are going to have a blast with. Plus, the bass is really nice and deep. So if you got a good subwoofer setup, you'll really enjoy this. It's not just the deepness of Robert Pattinson's voice. The whole movie has great low frequency effects. And I had a great time with the Batman in theaters. I loved this movie. I loved Matt Reeves' take on the Batman. So I cannot recommend the movie enough. But if you're gonna watch it, I think the only way to watch it is either go to a Dolby Digital like cinema or an IMAX theater, or grab this 4K disc and enjoy it at home. So it's an easy pick for number 2 on my list. So now we're at number 1, and you're probably wondering, like, I do like older movies and I like film restorations, and everything on this list was more modern except for The Godfather. And the reason for that is really because there's one company that has been killing it in the 4K game this year, and I couldn't choose just one for the number 1 slot. So number 1, best 4Ks of 2022, I would say anything that Kino Lorber puts out. They have been killing it with their classic restorations of some excellent movies, and I have yet to get a 4K release from them that's missed the mark. So I have a few here to show off. Some of these I actually haven't reviewed yet. Some of them I will be reviewing and I'm shooting review videos for now. But A Fistful of Dollars, Clint Eastwood movie, excellent. Tied in with that for a few dollars more on 4K. Absolutely amazing. The Great Escape on 4K. Unbelievable. Way better than the Criterion in my opinion. And then Some Like It Hot. Again, better than the Criterion. Unbelievable transfer. So Kino Lorber gets the number 1 spot because as I was going through their list of titles, I was really saying to myself, like, well, I could just make a list of Kino Lorber 5 through 1, but how much fun is that? Like, they would dominate the whole list. I might as well make a top 5 Kino Lorber 4K video instead of top 5 of the year. And I know the older movies aren't for everyone, and you want to know what's good for modern movies, but I'm telling you right now, if you have a 4K setup, if you've invested the money in that, if you've got the surround sound system, if you want the best quality, Kino Lorber is outdoing Criterion, they're outdoing Arrow Video, they're outdoing Shout Factory, they're outdoing even Blue Underground in some cases, which was my previous number 1 for boutique 4K labels. Kino has been killing it with their releases, plus packed with special features, really cool packaging and artwork. You really can't go wrong. So it was an easy choice to put Kino Lorber at number 1 on my list, but not an easy choice to actually choose which one. So I would just say anything from Kino Lorber, that's a must-have on 4K. So there's my list. There's my top 5 for the first half of 2022. Those are my opinions. I'd love to hear yours, but I'm sticking with what I've got. I do think that some of these more modern movies that have come out, the Atmos, especially on the Batman and Ambulance and the Northman, really impressive stuff. Visually, they're also super impressive. But nothing really gets me as much as like a great restoration. So I do have to give huge props to The Godfather and the team in American Zoetrope who did that, and huge props to Kino Lorber for their continued great work on 4K. Let me know what your top 5 is. Do you think I missed any? Do you think any should be off this list? I'm always curious to hear your guys' thoughts and what you've seen on your systems, because I'm just one review channel. There are many out there. Many people have different opinions and different things they look for. So I'm always curious what you guys thought. So that's it for the video. Thank you for watching. I will make sure to come back at the end of the year and do a top 10 list. And I've got a ton of other great content coming from my podcast. For this channel, I've been uploading some YouTube shorts and trying to share some more of that stuff to grow grow the community and spread the word about physicals. So you're going to see all sorts of stuff from me in the coming months. Even though I'm fairly busy working full time, got the baby, trying to do the whole dad thing, I'm still going to be able to get some content out where I can. So I appreciate you all watching and supporting. If you haven't yet, please subscribe and turn your notifications on. That helps support me and the channel and grow our audience. And make sure you check out all the links to social media and my accounts down in the description, as well as all the links to our partners. I'll also leave links to purchase each of these from the top 5 list in the description and in the pinned comment. So if you want to support me and you purchase through those links, that helps me and the channel, and I do appreciate that. So thanks for watching. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Stay safe and healthy out there, and I'll talk to you all soon.